question is like, we're talking about radio, but in this age, is radio really important now? It's like, because I listen to the radio in my car, but besides that, I got my playlists, I got my downloads.
I think radio still plays a big part of the industry. Radio is still, regardless of whether you might just listen to it during that time, people still listen to the radio for music. People still listen to Flex and DJs around the country, whoever that DJ is. You got to remember when we were young, we had time in our hands. We listened to people still listen to the radio. I know now that with social media, that avenues are a little bit broader, right? But we have to get out of the mentality of that program mentality, right? Like somebody like Jay-Z is in a position now to where, and I hate to bring Jay into the picture because people seem to always jump on Jay-Z, but I thought the 444 album was an excellent album.
Right.
Because he gave you game on how to get financially well. He didn't go into the pro-black, the black fist in the air, but
I think he kind of did, but it's my opinion.
Yeah, the black. I don't think if he went all the way black fist in the air, but he took the story of OJ.
Right.
He did a lot of things that I was like, okay, maturity. Then the verse he did with Meek Mill.
Right.
And he tore that verse. Yeah. So I think someone like Jay, if he was to come out and be like, all right, I got Public Enemy on my record.
Right.
Because he's on that level now.
Right.
He's on that level where he can call shots.
Right.
That would bring back that self-conscious. You got artists like J. Cole that are, somewhat self-conscious. You got Kendrick they have a little understanding. You can see that their music is a little bit different.
Right.
Someone has to grab it by the neck and be like, I'm gonna bring it to the forefront and I'm gonna put it in the mainstream. And then I think it will open up the door for, I think a lot of rappers are conscious and want to say conscious things, but the industry dictates, they want to grab that bag. Everybody wants to make that $100,000 a show.
Right.
So that's kind of dictates how they're going to go out there and put themselves out.
So speaking of Jay, I don't know if y'all heard the song. It's not new. It's been out for a couple of months now, but Jay Electronica and Jay-Z song. It's like a fire
I
type.
heard Jay Electronica came out with a new album.
Yeah.
I didn't get the verse.
It's very. If you see the video, the song actually starts up with Farrakhan. It's talking, and then Jay comes in, and then Jay Electronica does his verse. Let me find the name of this song briefly.
And I heard about the song. I didn't hear the song, but when you think about when the buzz came out about the song, most of that buzz would be for people of our generation,
right?
Because we grew up listening to Jay-Z.
Ghost of Soulja Slim. That's the title of the track, and it's really the whole video is Black Panther.
Right.
So, but do you think now? Because I know Jay-Z kind of sent the message out that his job was to be affluent, to make money, so that he can make change.
Right.
So do you think now, because he is a billionaire now, that more of his work will be this type of art, this type of revolutionary conversation, especially having a Jay Electronica?
Right. It depends on that's the path he wants to go, but when you think about mainstream, listeners, he's sort of disconnected from. They know his name because his name is a business.
Right.
But teenagers, early 20s, they're disconnected from Jay-Z. They're not connected to Jay-Z. So we can have a conversation about Jay-Z,
right,
and we'll all understand what we're saying about Jay-Z and his transition and the changes he's made and the things he talk about now. But a teenager, early 20s, they just know Jay-Z is a billionaire. He has title. They're not up in the catalog from '96. So they're not Jay-Z fans, so to speak.
Well, I don't know, because you said your son.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Jay, it's a lot of young kids.
There's a lot of people that like Jay.
My son got the whole catalog. And there's a lot of young kids out there that are Jay-Z fans. And Jay-Z is still relevant to them.
Right.
I'm not sure. There's certain artists that transcend times and era. There's certain artists that, and I'm saying it from a point of having a son that's a young man that's listened to Jay-Z, listens to Nas, he still listens. He listens to all.
Your son listen to Nas?
Listen to Nas.
No, I have to get done on the record.
No, but you listen to Jay-Z and Nas.
Yeah.
So usually a child.
But not really.
I'm not saying you pump it in the house like that, but
I mean, I have the
right.
CDs, I have stuff laying around. But what I'm saying is, you can't underestimate that a lot of the youth recognize what real hip hop is. You'd be surprised that they recognize but it's what they've been programmed to hear. What they've been programmed to hear is the drill that like Pop Smoke, and Pop Smoke is rapping like a dude from Chicago,
Right.
and he's from Canarsie, Brooklyn, New York. New York rappers don't necessarily rap that way. Right. But he's got to go in with, he had to go in, rest in peace, but he had to fit in where everybody else is at so he could be heard. Right. But if that New York flow was still the thing, the rappers would have to get they pen game up to par.
But and that's the thing, we talk about mainstream versus what is out there. There's a lot of artists out there that rap New York. There's a lot of New York artists out there that rap like New York. It's just that they don't get the airplay on the radio. So their avenues is something different. So whether they're young, you got Black Moon, and you have the whole Duck Down crew still making records.
Right.
But everybody don't know that.
Yeah, but people are not following them.
No, but that's
we would know that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Because we know who they are. Right. So we would follow Black Moon and the Duck Down and the whole, that whole crew. But as far as today, the kids are turned off as soon as just like some of us on our generation get turned off as soon as we hear their beats. Right. As soon as they hear a boom bap beat, they like, that's my father's music. Some of them are like that, you know what I mean? But some recognize real hip hop, you know what I mean? Some recognize real hip hop. So I just think it's maneuvering back. If they were to be programmed back into that, or certain mainstream artists took that kind of avenue, that they could come back to that sort of understanding of hip hop, And like when you watch, I don't know if you want to mention it, but sometimes I watch Sway.
Right.
In the morning, right? I watch it, and he has this thing called 5 Fingers of Death, and like clockwork, the new artist can't do it because he's putting on 5 beats, and you gotta be able to freestyle. They can't do it. They be like, oh no, I'm gonna opt out. Let me go on my phone, and then they try to do that flow. But artists that come from our generation, or real artists that could spit, even younger artists that understand what real hip hop is, it's nothing to them.
Right.
Because they could find around and slow it down, and they could speed it up.
Right.
Like they really did the homework. So it's a bunch of stuff. There's so much hip hop out there that it's for 2 words. But I still go back to the industry. I go back to the programming. If the radio stations were to begin to play conscious hip hop, you will see that the generation will come back to more of a conscious type of thing. And you become successful by it. As long as you want to keep listening to Megan Thee Stallion and everybody else that comes.
Like I said, somebody made the point, you gotta allow even radio DJs the versatility to play what they want to play. And then
But I think somebody like Flex has the versatility. Who is still on the radio, I believe. He has the versatility to play, but I know it's probably a lot of stuff.
But behind the scene, they don't have the flexibility to do what they were doing back in the day.
So this message goes out to all the hip hop, the rappers, the artists that want to have this conversation, that want to start bringing back some revolutionary black hip hop. Get your pen game up, start writing something for the people. That's just a message to y'all. Y'all gotta bring that message. Y'all gotta bring the message back because he needs to start bringing our babies back to the understanding of, you know, what we grew up with. So let's get back to that. So excellent points. Everybody's making excellent points. I do want to segue into, this is not exactly hip hop, but he is a person that is definitely of our generation. Dave Chappelle, 846. Did you guys get a chance to check it out?
I didn't see it.
You got a chance to check it out. So, in brief, it was a short,
About 26 minutes.
26-minute stage segment that he did. But it was more, in my opinion, it was more of a statement. Just in general, because he's a funny guy, you're going to get laughed out of what he said. But it was more about his opinion on the impact of what is actually happening and how it affected him. And I'm just going to say this. I'm kind of glad he said everything he said, whether people agree with it or not, because he is a person that gives an honest opinion, right? Regardless, whether you agree with him or not, he gives his honest opinion about a circumstance. And I think he made it clear, as I said, whether you agree with him or not, that you have to begin to understand how black people feel when they see stuff like this. You gotta understand what we go through and the trauma that comes back inside our minds every time, because we're dealing with our personal trauma. And then when we see it on TV, you know, a brother dying that didn't have to die because somebody's knee was on his neck, we have a whole bunch of trauma that just relived. And then, you know, they say trauma is something that becomes part of your DNA, it's generational, right? So we have all of us being men of black African descent, you want to call it that went through slavery, our parents went through slavery in one way, shape, or form. Whether you're from Panama, Grenada, Guyana, America, whatever the case may be, our parents, our foreparents, have dealt with this thing in some way, shape, or form, and it's a part of us, right? We see it, we deal with it. Just how do you think the new generation processes the stuff he actually said? Like, you know, because you have people that, because you got the youth, are the main ones that are out there right now protesting. How do you think they process what he said? And even in his speech, he gave them a big shout out and support for them going out and doing what they're doing. But just in your humble opinion, how do you think that you process a lot of what he said? But since you didn't see it, but, you know, you can go, but, you know.
I think that what he said was important, was pertinent, and needed to be said. You know, he spoke of an experience of a police officer that pulled him over.
Exactly.
Right? And you know, he was going through what we go through as black men. Right. Showing your hands, I'm reaching in, you know, doing this, doing that.
Right.
Right? And then the police officer said, I know who you are. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so almost like, yeah, we know which one of y'all Negroes are famous. We know you famous Negroes. Michael Jordan is not like in Do the Right Thing. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. He's not a Mulian. Right. You know what I mean? Right. He's Michael Jordan. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Dave, I know who you are, but then that same police officer runs into a Walmart and shoots a black man that someone called the police on when Walmart, I believe it was Walmart or one of those stores, right. And he had a BB gun. He was buying a BB gun rifle. Right. And without hesitation, he shoots him because we become the threat. So I think that absolutely the youth are tuned into Dave Chappelle. Right. You know, that Netflix special, which was put out in June, early June, or the middle of June, already has almost 30 million views. Right. So that's not just adults watching it. Gotta be you. It has to be the youth. Right. And they're watching it over and over. Dave Chappelle is the Eddie Murphy, and I don't even want to say Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy wasn't conscious.
He got more like a Paul Mooney. Huh? Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney,
right.
he's more like but at a higher level.
Right.
Right.
Paul Mooney didn't get to the level. You can see Dave Chappelle is a combination of Paul Mooney,
Right.
George Carlin, right? George Carlin, white boy and everything, but he was very conscious. Very conscious. So you can see he's a combination of all those and a little bit of Eddie because he has his little, you know. But he is a combination of all of them, Richard Pryor, and he just makes you think.
Right.
And the youth they are tuned into Dave Chappelle. That's why Netflix numbers go through the roof. It's not just us watching it. It's some white folks, but there's a lot of our youth that's tuned in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I believe that he speaks to their minds, and if they were to listen a little bit more, right, that he could probably set them in a. He doesn't try to be a savior, but he's very intelligent. You can see the way he explains things that he brings an understanding to it. Like when he went in his last special, he talks about that LGBTQ.
Right.
It's what a lot of us think.
Right.
But a lot of people wouldn't say it because they are afraid of the repercussions.
Right.
But it's what a lot of us think, you know, and he just finds an intelligent way to put things. So do I believe that the youth is locked into Dave Chappelle? Absolutely. You don't get almost 30 million views just by adults.
Definitely. But this is the segue to a question that both of you can answer. He hit on the point. Dave Chappelle in the show stated that, you know, like, do I get a pass because I'm Dave Chappelle? And is there something in the mindset of people that believe that, you know, our celebrities are separate from us? Our celebrities are on another level or not included in the masses, right? Because even with the situation, Michael Jordan spoke out, and, you know, I have a newfound love for Michael Jordan because I see
he spoke out.
He spoke out.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he spoke out. And
what did he say?
He talked Mike talked about, you know, the tragedy of what happened and how it's unfair. And, you know, he it's a letter that he actually put out, a statement that he made on Twitter, I think. Okay. But and it's for me, it was like, okay, him claiming that he's not an activist. He already said that I'm not an activist. That's not his forte. He may believe in causes, but he's not really the spokesperson and stuff like that. For him to go out and say what he said, okay, I see you getting there because, you know, the younger athletes are kind of beating you by mile. They're beating the whole generation of people by mile. The only person that I believe that this new generation is not beating out in the old generation is men like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the late great Muhammad Ali, may rest in peace. But people like that who, you know, because I know Magic is very in the community, and he's being very vocal.
But Magic does it more with business
and stuff like that.
Hiring black people and stuff like that.
But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has always been more of an activist, vocal activist on issues, and, you know, he'll do a sit-in and stuff like that.
That cost Kareem a lot of his endorsements.
Yeah, but Kareem doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
You know what I mean? And his thing was he looked at it as morals over money, because if you see what the situation is, and, you know, and it's not a race thing with him at all. It's just an injustice thing. It's a humanity thing.